Jahnyah, and I'm gonna be answering a few questions. At what age did you realize the connotation that the color of your skin had or has? There was a time when I was living in St. Catharines, and me and my mom and my sisters were walking to, it was either Goodwill or No Frills, I don't know which one, but I guess my mom blocked in the sky. And once me and my sisters got out of the car with my mom, he came up to us. He started like screaming the N-word at my mom. I don't even know what age I was. I know I was young because my mom was still holding our hands while we were walking in the parking lot, so I had to be young. And I don't think I knew what the word meant, but in my heart I knew it was derogatory. And I felt sad for my mom because even though it was towards my mom, like I still felt the hurt. If you are a Black person who has never heard the word before inside your house, and it came from outside your house from a white person, and it was for your degradation, you know that feeling that you felt. And my mom just stood up for herself like always, because she's a strong Black woman. Describe a moment in your life where you truly felt like Black is beautiful, powerful, and I'm beautiful and powerful. It was recently, actually. So for many years of my life, I felt like, oh, I want to be white. I want to have white girl's hair. I want to have that flowing ponytail. That little, you know, when girls have those ponytails and like when they walk, it goes like this. I was really wanting that because I had dreads for pretty much my whole life. My ponytail never did that. She stayed stiff. But after a while, my mom made me and my sisters say kind words to ourselves in the mirror every morning. So one would be like, I am Black, I am strong, I am beautiful, or I am smart. All those kind of sayings, so we can really feel it and feel in our heart that we don't have to be something we're not, based on things that we've seen in so many places that we've lived and have felt that we've needed to be. In grade 7, she started making us do that, but like I truly felt it in maybe grade 11. That's when I started seeing more Black people in my grade and like around my high school, and I don't know, I just didn't feel so alone. And I felt like even if I was my own Black person, no one could tell me otherwise, that I was like whitewashed or like I'm trying to act Black. It's just me and I am Black, so whatever I do is me. It doesn't have to be defined by my color. So I'm gonna say grade 11 is when I truly felt it in my heart that I was Black, beautiful, and powerful. What do you want to say the most to your non-Black friends, families, and peers? What I want to say to them is think before you speak when it comes to things that you think are okay to say. And also don't accuse Black people of wanting attention or feeling that they are mistreated when you think that they aren't, because there's definitely something in your head that thinks you are right, which is part of the problem. And at any chance that you get, try to educate yourself and get to know, either ask Black people you know about their experiences being Black. Ask simple questions and they may give you answers that you may not think was a thing or an answer. Don't be ignorant, because Black lives matter, my life matters, and my feelings matter. What do you feel like is the most often assumed about you? I feel like because I'm such a outgoing, I would say more outgoing person, that people think calling me ratchet is cute. It's not cute. It's not fun. It's not fresh. It's not nice. I actually feel so ashamed when people call me that, because the meaning behind that word is just so degrading to me. And you can't just say, oh wow, you're such a fun person, Jahnyah. Oh wow, you're just so outgoing. You have to say ratchet. Why are you labeling me as ratchet? Why can't you label Becky as ratchet when she's acting loud and excited and outgoing? You're not. You're just gonna use that word towards me as a black woman. That is one. And another one is, it's really sad, but people thinking that you're dumb or slow and that certain topics that you're talking about you wouldn't know because black people don't retain the same information or like don't know the same information because they're black, which doesn't make any sense. But I felt like that a lot at school, especially in the classroom, with teachers, without teachers, with students. Another stereotype was me and my sisters not having the same parents because we are black. But that's also a thing in other people of color's families, white families. So I don't know, always getting asked that question by white people is very not fun. What do you want people to know about what it's like to be a black woman? I want people to know that we have to hold so much energy and so much control and anger and frustration and patience in society at all times, during school, in the workplace, even at people's homes, because you have to always put on a fake version of yourself, a facade, to make people like you, enjoy being around you, and not feel intimidated or endangered, I guess, because a lot of people feel that way, even though in some situations we're just trying to defend ourselves and stand up for ourselves because no one else is gonna do it. We're always walked all over, and especially as a black female, I feel like black men have it hard, but I feel like black females have it a bit harder because we are less than. We are at the bottom of the food chain when it comes to white people, people of color, and black people, man and woman. The black women are at the bottom of the food chain for almost everything because already women are at the bottom of the food chain, but if you're a black woman, it's a lot. It's a lot. And we always have to be the ones strong for our sons, our daughters, our aunts, our cousins, our nephews, because we are the foundation holders. I also feel like I'm never heard. I feel like any story that I give in any situation, I'm always second guessed or doubted, which does not feel in any way, shape, or form good at all. What is something that you want your non-black friends to do the most? I want them to try to understand. I want them to come forward and to say sorry for things that they either recall or don't recall. I want them to ask questions even if they think that it might be rude. I want them to want to learn about black history, what it's like to be a black woman in today's society, in the schools, in jobs, in any situation, just driving. I want them to not disregard the fact that there is something wrong and there's always been something wrong, and just because slavery is over with, that there isn't anything wrong. I want them to take a stand, and if they want to take a stand for something, I want them to say it with their chest and not try to be just silent or make posts that are passive aggressive. What do you believe? Do you believe all our lives matter? Okay. So do you want to discuss why you think that is, or do you not want to understand? I want them to just be present and mindful and open-minded. I want them to reflect on things that they have said, thought, felt around a black person. I want them to maybe try to put themselves in a black person's shoes and understand how they may have felt when that came out of their mouth or that action was done. Say if they went through an elevator and they grabbed their purse harder when I walked in. I want them to go back to their house and think, why did I really do that in the elevator when that black lady came in? How does systematic racism affect you? In the past, it has affected me greatly with some teachers who blame us for certain things when that wasn't what we were doing, or they believed that we, and especially in schools, are misbehaved. It was hard for me because they made me feel dumb. I specifically remember this in grade 8. They were like, you need to go to something for challenged learners. My average going into high school was like 83, so I don't know why my grade 8 teacher said that. I was very offended actually because she was white, and like why she thought that made no sense. I ended up doing all academic classes in high school, and I'm going to university for kin, so like her saying that made me want to prove her wrong and made me have motivation. But if she said that to someone else who didn't feel like they were worth it or could prove her wrong, they could end up taking her advice and going into the learning education. Not saying that's a bad thing, but once ideas like that are planted in a young black boy or girl's head, they feel like they're worthless, especially in the school system. They feel like they can't do it, and even if they try, that voice inside of their head is gonna repeat that you're not good enough, and like you're not going to get this A, you're not going to do this. And it's really hard. When trying to apply for jobs, I usually wouldn't even get callbacks. I remember when I was first looking for a job in grade 12, so I got one when I was 17, and I applied to so many places, like so many, and my resume was not bad at all because I even had teachers help me. I've had programs help me, and the only reason why I got this job is because I did a program where they knew a person and the person just hired me on the spot. But even before then, I would call back, but they wouldn't even answer. It'd be like, oh yeah, we're looking for this, but I know it would be because like my name is Jahnyah and like the way it's spelled, like obviously you know she's black. I don't know, it was really frustrating. How do we break the system? So we need to take action. The only way to break the system is to make our own system based on equality, set up on love, appreciation, true, real history. Us as black people need to stand together. We need to support black businesses and only support black businesses. We need to get out of the habit of depending on the white person when it comes to schools, when it comes to businesses, as in having Amazon as like one of our primary sources of getting quick and fast items. We need to go out of our comfort zone and be less dependent on the white man. We need to be more dependent on us. We need to build stuff for us. We need to make our stuff ours. We need to make our own schools where we are taught our history, the right history. We need to be more active, learn more. We need to be smarter with our actions. We need to make our own hospitals so black women do not die of childbirth because they weren't treated the same as a white woman. We need to go to law firms who would protect us and our families if they change the system in ways that would make us happy, but we actually don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We're still going to be oppressed by the system, but this time we are going to know what we're standing for, and if they have something to say, we still have people of color and white people who know what is right and are going to be able to stand up for us also when we stand up for ourselves, and that's what we need right now. How did George Floyd's death make you feel? It made me feel heavy, to be honest. The whole week after his death, the feeling in the house was just so heavy. It was dark, it was sad, it was depressing. I hate seeing stuff like that. It makes me feel so emotional, and like I'm a person who likes to hold in their tears, their sadness. That just made me feel so numb because knowing that it was normal, the question came to mind, like, why is this still happening? Why is this still going on? A black man literally was lynched by a white police officer, and for a whole week straight he did not get convicted. I just felt mad. It was just internal, it was deep rooted, because that wasn't the first time I've seen that. I've been seeing this since I started watching TV when I was like 10. How do the police make you feel? They make me feel anxious and nervous because they feel like they have the right to your life, and if you were a black male or a black female and you were to get stopped and you didn't know your rights, you will end up digging yourself in a hole, dying, or getting convicted of something that wasn't something you should have been convicted for. And because I noticed that there are a lot of police who don't wear their body cam, even if they had footage, nothing would happen to them, which is crazy. Even if I'm in a car with someone who's white or a person of color, I am still fearful of my life because I may be the only black person in the car, or maybe ask questions, even though I may not be driving, about something that I did, or like, why am I so suspicious, you know? That's how I feel around police officers. How has racism and discrimination affected your self-image, personal life, and family? When I was in high school, not being invited to white parties was like a bad thing. I felt bad because I wasn't wearing traditional white girl clothing. I felt like I just didn't fit in, and that made my self-confidence be so low, because if I'm not myself, who am I? That is a good question, and I could not tell you. A fake version of someone else. And being myself around families, like going to families' houses, they don't even have to say anything. You just feel it. If you're a black woman or man, girl or boy, you can feel the racism in their house when you walk into their house. They don't even have to say anything. You just feel it. It's so uncomfortable. And you don't even understand how many times that has happened to me in my past 20 years of life, almost 21 years of life. You don't know what to do. You can't even ignore it because it's a feeling. It's the looks they give you, the side eye, the comments under their breath. It has affected me in my personal life and my family. On my mom's side, I do have a lot of white family because they are from Halifax. They still don't understand, even though they have many black family members. Some family members don't get invited to some things because of the color of their skin. And it has happened to me and my mom and my family. But it's reality. It is our reality. What was it like growing up black? It was a lot of convincing that I was worth it, especially in the school system. Growing up in St. Catherine's in London. London is where I experienced the most racism I ever experienced in my life. It's like the energy people gave out, the things that people would say, getting spit in front of on the sidewalk, getting dirty looks. I was still young. I moved to Whitby when I was like, 13, starting high school. So it was a lot of like different parts of Ontario where I felt racism or like felt discriminated. London was the worst because they were not low-key about it at all. Do you feel your sense of identity and belonging was hindered by your skin color? Yes, for a lot of my life. And I'm still actually learning how to be my own person and not be defined as someone who's whitewashed or not black enough or too black, you know? Like, I'm just me, and if you think that, then you have identity issues, because how do you determine if someone is whitewashed or blah blah blah? And recently I felt the love for myself, my skin, my beautiful dreads. I've always felt like it was harder to find yourself in a white man's world with being a black woman, because there's just so much influencing you, because what they portray as beautiful is usually a white woman who is skinny, who has long hair, who has bright eyes. But I feel like I am happy. I feel like I am happy to be a black, strong, independent woman. But yeah, learning once you grow older becomes beautiful, and I feel like changing the system and being more loving and appreciative of young black women does help their self-confidence